was receiving death threats, and friends said he knew the end was near. The next day, King was assassinated. A life dedicated to peace ended in violence.
Throughout the first half of 2025, the United States has seen roughly 150 politically motivated attacks, nearly twice as many during the same period last year, according to CNN. Lawmakers across the political spectrum are facing an increased barrage of threats, according to a U.S. Capitol Police report. Those attacks on lawmakers and other political figures have ranged from arson attacks on a governor's residence to the assassinations of elected officials. And so, the question still remains on what is going on with American democracy today, and how this wave of political violence is currently reshaping the American classroom.
A lot of the increase is due to political leaders and elites calling for political violence.
You'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong.
Practically a riot. 49 hours declaring it a riot.
People are saying that the other side is evil and awful, and you can't negotiate with evil or awful. It has to be eradicated. You know, if politics is always a zero-sum game, then you have to be all in and zero-sum all of the time. The way you get on TV, the way you get popular on social media is to say things that are extreme, so people click on them and engage with them. So more people do that, which ratchets up the tension in politics.
We've also had people who've felt so threatened by other people before that they've gone ahead and assassinated them. So we've had Martin Luther King and John F. Kennedy and George Wallace were all shot or assassinated as political leaders because people felt so threatened by them.
The stakes are really high. They're really important issues. We ought to be arguing about them. Not everybody should agree. If everybody agrees, it's not worth having the conversation, or you're not in a democracy. So the conversations I've seen in classrooms have been really good and respectful. And I think that's been reflected around campus recently after the shooting of Charlie Kirk, where you had Young Americans for Freedom, the college Dems and the college Republicans spontaneously coming together and saying, look, this is not okay. How do we argue in ways that don't turn violent, that are fundamentally respectable? And I think we do a good job of that here.
Yeah, I do very much try to engage what is currently happening into my lectures, and it is definitely both impacting the content of my lectures and how I organize a class. You get the sense sometimes when you teach, you can sort of watch people and sort of see how students are reacting to various things. And I do get a sense of increased tension and nervousness about things, and I see a reluctance sometimes to actually talk about different issues.
But professors are only one side of this equation. To understand how political polarization is impacting the classroom, we need to hear it from the students themselves. A generation raised on social media algorithms that push political conflict into their feeds, shaping the way they see the world before even stepping into the classroom.
I see it as the growing amount of partisan collision within the government, but also the public view of people in tandem with social media, because social media feeds into echo chambers and making people have stronger beliefs than they already have and seeing the other side as wrong and evil.
Pretty recently, within the past, I'd say 2 years, given the election and given recent events, there has been a stronger sentiments of politics, especially us. We're a very politically centered school. Our biggest majors are international affairs or poli-sci. So we have strong opinions and we know how to form them.
I think on any campus right now there is polarization. More than usual, I really couldn't say. I think within the last year, there's been polarization in every way. But I think that students on GW campus are doing a good job at remaining respectful and educated on certain issues.
I feel like a lot of the professors here are acting very professional about this. They realize what's going on, how it's affecting everybody with the political violence, and as well as the how people feel scared here in the city as of right now.
All universities are wrestling with the limits, and that's the tension. right? And it's a healthy tension in democracy. How far is too far? I don't know. Does it depend on the time? I don't know. What are the stakes? Like, we have to be having those conversations, right? We need more civil politics, less shouting. Like in general, if people shouted less, I think we'd all be happier. But we have to have some tension, right? There has to be some push and pull. Arguments get loud. They get bumpy because they're about important things. One of the things we do at a university is learn how to have those conversations, right? You're a bunch of people from all over the world thrown together in a small space with high pressure for a short amount of time. It's going to get bumpy.